Persia had 4 great cats. They ruled its myths. For cats shaped an empire's myths, a 5th was barely mentioned. And yet, it's the only one still alive. Start with the lion, because that's where the myth-making begins. Sure, in Persian, in Achaemenids, during the hero Rostam's first trial, a lion attacks his camp while he sleeps. It isn't Rostam who kills it. It's his horse, Raksh, who fights the animal off before it can reach him. Rostam wakes, furious that Raksh didn't rouse him.
What dream was that?
Saying that if a dragon had come,
no, I will
he'd
not
have handled it
yield.
himself. Even secondhand, even sleeping, Persia's greatest hero was still measured against a lion. The phrase Sherdel, lion-hearted, carried that measure forward for 1,000 years. Worn by kings and soldiers as a badge.
The lion wasn't only about courage. It was about the right to rule. Lion and sun together, Shuro Khorshid sat on Iran's flag until 1979. Earthly power fused with something closer to cosmic order.
Even the map may carry its echo. One folk reading of Shiraz traces the name to Shur, lion, plus a suffix meaning place, the lion's ground. It's a disputed theory. The oldest documented form, the Elamite Tarazis from around 2000 BCE, point somewhere else entirely, possibly toward vineyards, not lions. But whatever the name actually means, the city sits barely 60 kilometers from Persepolis, where the lion needs no etymology at all, carved directly into the palace stairways, fighting bulls in stone, crowning the capitals of columns that have stood for 2,500 years. If Shiraz doesn't literally mean lion's ground, it's still standing next to the closest thing Persia ever built to one.
By the 1800s, that same animal was a trophy. Qajar-era hunts targeted lions specifically as proof of royal dominance. And later, as oil operations expanded through Kazakhstan, the animal's habitat narrowed with them. The last confirmed sighting of a wild lion in Iran came in 1942, near Desful. 2 years later, in 1944, the body of a dead lioness was found on the bank of the Karen River not far away. No sighting followed either event.
By then, 3,000 years of symbolism had outlived the animal that gave it meaning by exactly 2 years.
But symbols need visibility. In the north, there was none.
The lion ruled Persia's imagination in daylight, in front of poets and kings. Beyond the Iranian plateau lay another Persia entirely.
Forests so dense that Greek writers believed monsters lived inside them. Mist that never fully lifted, even at noon. That was Hyrcania, the Caspian tiger's world, and almost nobody from the court ever set foot in it. Persian kings celebrated lions because they could be seen. Tigers became legends because they almost never were. The word for tiger, Babur, appears only rarely in the Shahnameh, and never as a hero's mirror the way the lion does. It's closer to a dragon. A measure of danger too large to fully place. Rostam's legendary armor. The Baburi Bayan was said to be cut from the hide of a beast so strange even the poets disagreed on what it actually was. The lion stood beside the throne. The tiger haunted the edge of the map.
Through the late 1800s and into the early 1900s, Tsarist Russia expanded its hunting bounty program from the Caucasus into the forests of northern Iran.
15 rubles a carcass, rising in later years. Every dead tiger became a receipt.
Russian officers logged the campaign in their own reports as clearing the frontier, leaving empty space.
A border pushed forward, one animal at a time, and called progress, the whole way. One by one, the reports stopped. Then only rumors remained. By the 1950s, even the rumors had gone quiet. The species was formally declared extinct in 2003, a formality, by then, for a disappearance people had already lived with for half a century.
Here's the part that outlasted the animal. Babr is still spoken in Persian today, in the phrase Babri Bengal, the Bengal tiger. A word that once named a beast prowling the Iranian coastline simply attached itself to a tiger from somewhere else. Persia kept the sound. It lost the thing the sound was for.
The lion became impossible to ignore. The tiger became easy to forget. Hyrcania still exists. The forests, the rivers, the mist. The tiger doesn't. A third cat took a different path. It didn't vanish into myth, or someone else's frontier campaign. It stayed close to people, and survived by staying unnoticed. Two cats we've already lost. This one is still out there tonight, closer to a farmhouse than most people would guess.
The leopard never got a throne. It never got a flag. Unlike the lion, unlike the tiger, Palong was never truly claimed by kings. And maybe that's exactly why it never had to disappear.
In Persian art and folklore, the leopard belonged to the night and the mountain pass, not the court. Miniature paintings place it in ambush. Alone, spotted coat blending into rock and shadow.
Villages across the Zagros and the north still carry its name in the land itself, Palangan in Kurdistan, the place of leopards, Palangdara, Leopard Valley, scattered through the west. Not a capital named after it, just the ground it actually walked.
Even a language kept it close rather than elevated. Persians sometimes blurred the line between Palong, the leopard, and a smaller, faster cousin whose very name borrowed the word. Palong, the swift leopard. One animal lending its name to another it barely resembles. That confusion is where this story goes next.
Here's the part that separates the leopard from the other two. It's still here. Iran holds the largest surviving population of the Persian leopard subspecies anywhere on Earth. Estimates run between 800 and 1,200 individuals, spread across the Alborz Range, the Zagros, and protected pockets like Golston National Park. The species is still listed as endangered, not extinct. It survived by doing almost the opposite of what the lion did. No flag, no royal hunt turning it into a trophy of state power. Instead, retaliatory killings when it takes livestock. Poisoned carcasses left by herders protecting flocks. Poaching for the fur trade. Leopards struck on mountain roads at night. Quieter threats. No single villain, no single campaign, no single year it ends. Just constant pressure, and an animal built to absorb it by staying unseen.
Camera traps across these mountains now capture what human eyes rarely do. A leopard moving along a ridge at 3 a.m. A mile from a village that has no idea it shares its water source with one.
The tiger vanished because it stayed hidden inside a war it never knew it was part of. The leopard has survived by staying hidden too, inside a different kind of war, one that's still being fought every night without headlines. Persia named its next great cat after this one, more or less, the swift leopard. But the swift leopard shares almost nothing with the leopard at all. Not its patience, not its secrecy, and as it turns out, not its odds of survival either.
Fewer than 30 of these are left alive on the entire planet. Not in a zoo, not in captivity. 30 in the wild, and every single one of them is here.
Palong, the swift leopard. A name borrowed from the animal we just left behind, and about the only thing the two cats share. Where the leopard survived by staying hidden, the cheetah's entire relationship with Persia was built on being seen, caught, and kept. Persian and later Safavids courts didn't hunt the cheetah for its skin. They tamed it, a tradition that later spread and was used the exact same way in India. Cheetahs were hooded like falcons, carried on cushioned platforms, or led on leashes to the hunting grounds, then released at full speed after gazelle. A cheetah could outrun almost anything in the desert. For a king, owning one wasn't a trophy. It was owning the fastest thing alive and commanding it to kill on cue. That relationship, oddly, may have saved the species longer than either the lion's crown or the tiger's obscurity did. A tamed animal isn't hunted to extinction. It's bred, valued, kept close. But also meant almost no wild cheetahs were left to breed, once the courts that prized them disappeared.
By the 20th century, the Asiatic cheetah's range had collapsed to a handful of desert reserves in central Iran: Mayandasht, Nabandan, Turan. Poaching, habitat fragmentation, and a shrinking gazelle population did the rest. Today, the Asiatic cheetah is the only cheetah population left outside Africa, and it is critically endangered. Estimates range from roughly 12 to 30 individuals total. In 2022, a cub named Pirus became a national story, born in captivity as part of a last resort conservation effort, watched by millions online as a symbol that the species might still have a future. He died the same year, from kidney failure, weeks after his mother and sibling had died the same way. Iran had already used the name once before. Pirus was also the cheetah mascot of Iran's 2018 World Cup campaign, standing in for a species most Iranians will never see alive.
A king once measured his power by how fast an animal he owned could run. Today, the same country measures how much time is left by how few of them remain.
4 cats, 4 different ways of vanishing: worship, war, pressure, and possession. But one animal in these mountains was never worshipped, never warred over, and never possessed. That's exactly why it's still here.
For gray cats. For different ways of dying: worship, war, pressure, possession. This one was never worth writing about. It's the only one still walking these mountains today.
Gush, black ears. Not lion, not tiger, not even properly a great cat by zoological standards. The Caracal barely appears in the Shahnameh. No king wore its name, and that omission may be the only reason it's still alive.
Where the lion demanded a throne, the tiger a war, and the cheetah a leash, the Caracal asked for nothing and was given nothing. No flag, no armor, no royal hunt. It lived and still lives across the same dry hills and scrubland that once held all 5 cats, from the Zagros to the edges of the Central Plateau.
Villages name the ground after it too. Quietly, Gush survives today mostly as names for mountain peaks and valleys in the northwest. Never a city, never a monument. Nobody built it a Hyrcania.
That's not an accident. It's a strategy, even if the animal never knew it was following one. The Caracal is small enough to avoid being a trophy, adaptable enough to hunt rodents and birds near farmland without triggering the kind of retaliation that erodes leopard populations, and elusive enough that most Iranians who live within its range have never seen one. It simply never became valuable enough to destroy. One more cat moved through Iran, further north, and it went unwritten for a different reason entirely. The Eurasian lynx reaches into the Alborz forests in small, scattered numbers, but it's surveyed so rarely that even conservationists disagree on how many remain or exactly where. The Caracal stayed invisible on purpose. The lynx stayed invisible because almost no one ever looked.
This story belongs to the one we can actually count.
In Hamadan, a 2,000-year-old stone lion still guards the ruins of the city gate, weathered, eroded, but standing. In Shiraz, the name on every map may or may not mean lion's ground. In modern Persian, Babri Bengal still means Bengal tiger, a word with nowhere else to live. Iran's football team still wears a cheetah's name in the stadiums. The lion and sun still surface on old coins, old flags, old memory. For animals died, almost none of what they meant did.
But the symbolism was never only about the throne. In Sufi tradition, these same animals lived inside a different kind of story. Not worn, not owned, but fought. The predator became a stand-in for nafs, the lower self. Appetite, ego, the instinct a person spends a lifetime trying to master. To tame the inner leopard wasn't a hunt. It was a description of the self at war with itself. The lion-hearted king measured his courage against an animal outside his body. The mystic measured his against one he carried inside it.
For ways to become something through an animal, then, wear its skin, ride its speed, fear its name, or fight it in silence inside your own chest.
There's one more twist. The Caspian tiger that vanished from these forests wasn't a separate species from the Siberian tiger. Genetic studies confirm they were nearly identical. Likely one population split by geography rather than biology. Iranian and Russian researchers have since discussed the possibility of reintroducing Siberian tigers into the Caspian region, their closest relatives once called home. It would not be the same animal, but it will be the closest thing to an undoing this story has.
No one is proposing that for the lion. Its nearest wild relatives, a few hundred Asiatic lions in India's Gir forest, remain the only ones of their kind left on Earth.
5 cats, for became symbols first and casualties after. One never became a symbol at all, and outlived every single one of them because of it.
The forgotten cat outsmarted history simply by never being asked to carry it.